So if you remember in our last session of term 1, we revised the formula for elasticity, right?
Yep.
And I told you that you need to calculate each part of this formula separately, okay, to get a proper answer. All right, so when you find the percent change of quantity demand, it's new demand minus old demand
Minus
by
old demand.
Okay? And
Yep.
same thing goes for price. So calculate this separately and then divide those two to get your answer. And if you remember, how do we interpret our result? We take the absolute value. That means we ignore any negative sign, okay? So that means ignoring the negative sign, if the result is between 0 and 1, okay, what does it mean?
Oh,
So there's two possibilities, right?
yes.
So if it is 0 to 1, it means inelastic, right? And if it is it is above 1, if it is above 1, not 1, above
Elastic.
1, it is elastic. All right, you need to remember that. That's very important. Let me just wrote it down here. If your PED, that means absolute value, okay, ignore the negative sign. If the value of PED is between 0 to 1, okay, in that case it will be inelastic. Right. And then if your value of PED, that means absolute value, ignoring the negative sign, is between, if it is above 1, okay, let me erase this, not equal to, all right. Okay, I can get the pen for some reason. Just a second. Yeah. Oh, come on. Oh, got it. So if the absolute, you can write it down somewhere, okay? Because this is very important. If the absolute value of PED is between 0 to 1, it is inelastic, right? IE. And if it is, if the PED is greater than 1, okay, then it is elastic. Okay, this is very important. You better write it down somewhere. Okay, Aaron? Hello? Hello?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Are you there?
Yeah, everything's
Okay. Now, did you write that down?
Yep. I already screenshot it.
Okay, all right. So now the important thing is what does inelastic means, or what does elastic mean? So what is inelastic? Tell me.
Yeah, inelastic.
Yeah.
So inelastic is when the change in quantity demand is because of a change in price, right, sir?
Not because, not really. Remember, everything about elasticity is about responsiveness. This is the key word here.
Responsiveness. Oh,
Responsiveness.
okay.
Right. So here the issue is always price and demand. Okay, price will always cause the demand to change. But here we are learning the responsiveness, how sensitive it is.
Oh,
Okay.
so technically inelastic is when change in price, but it little affects the demand, right?
Demand, very good, very good. Okay.
Whereas
So
the elastic,
right,
the
right,
change in price affect more yeah,
exactly.
on the demand.
So let me show you something else. Actually, I will just write it down for you so that it becomes easy for you. Okay, this one. So when it is inelastic, it means that a change in price or you can say a little change in price. A little change in price has little or no effect
Right.
on the
Quantity demanded.
demanded. We're only concerned about the quantity demanded here, okay? So what could be an example for this sort of product? It could be medicine, maybe, right? It could be medicine, and then it could be basic basic staple or staple food, okay, like bread, rice, okay. So these are the example. Even if you change the price, people are still going to buy it, right? Because they need to survive. Okay. Now, why is learning in about elasticity important? How will
Learning about
elasticity?
what?
Yes. Yes.
Elasticity. Okay.
So you're learning to become a business manager, right? That's the purpose of studying this business degree. So
That's right.
think about it. How will learning about the elasticity or calculating the elasticity will help you to become a better business manager? Think about
Um.
it. Okay, because you will know should you increase, if you should increase the price or decrease the price or keep the price the same. All right, because let me show you a diagram. Okay, let me show you a diagram. Okay, actually, before I show you the diagram, let's make this definition clear of elastic. If your demand is elastic, what does it mean?
Change in price has a lot.
A little change in price has, yes, a lot of effect. Okay, has a bigger impact, maybe we can say, or bigger effect. Okay. Has a bigger effect on the quantity demanded. So this is very sensitive, right? For example, it could be what? Soft drinks, maybe, right? Because there are too many options. If you increase the price of one, people are not gonna buy your drink. They're gonna just switch to another company's drink. So it could be soft drinks, maybe clothes. Okay. So this is called elastic. If elastic and this is inelastic. So you need to be very
So,
yeah.
Tobacco and smoking is inelastic, right? Because means
Tobacco,
people still
yes.
buy it.
Right. So tobacco is another example here for inelastic. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, as I was saying, why it is important to know as a manager, why it is important to know about the elasticity of your product, the demand elasticity or the price elasticity of demand for your product. Now, let's draw a diagram. Let me go to paint. So this is my price. Sorry, my price. And this is my quantity demanded. Okay. And let me draw the demand curve. So let's draw the curve like this. Okay. Now, can you guess if it is a demand curve for if it is an elastic demand curve or if it is an inelastic demand curve? Can you guess?
Wait, sir.
So
Inelastic and inelastic.
yeah, if the demand curve is like this, do you think it is a demand curve for it is an elastic demand curve or inelastic demand curve?
It's a
You're not sure.
elastic.
No, it is inelastic.
Inelastic.
It is inelastic. Okay, because let's see. Okay, let's see what's happening. So think about tobacco. Okay, let's say this is the demand curve of tobacco. So previously tobacco was, let's say, $7. All right. And when the
Okay.
price was $7, the demand was maybe, let's say 100, okay? 100 people used to buy it. All right. Now, for some reason, the price increased. Okay. Maybe the price increased to $10 now. Okay. Now look at the change in demand.
Very less.
Demand. Very less. Maybe 95 people are, or let's say 97 people are now buying it. Okay. So you see, this is inelastic. Even if you change the price a lot, only a very few portion
Changes.
people, yes, actually the change in demand is very less.
Mm.
So it is not sensitive, right? So if you look at the area, okay, you can always use the area to understand. For example, this is the area of change in price, and look at the area of change in demand is very less. So that's why this is inelastic. All right. Now let's talk about the elastic demand. Let's talk about the elastic demand.
The elastic demand, the graph is like almost like a straight line, right?
Flat, yes, it will be flat, not almost straight.
Oh, I mean,
it will
it's
be
already
much
straight.
flatter. It will be much flatter. Yes, you're correct to some extent. So it will be like this.
Oh,
So you see, the more elastic the demand gets, the more flatter it becomes. See, like this.
oh, okay.
All right. This is actually called perfectly elastic because it's absolutely straight. But we'll come to that later, not now. And
Okay.
the less elastic it gets, or the more inelastic it gets, the more straight it becomes like this. Okay, this is the issue. For example, this is inelastic, still inelastic, 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 inelastic. Maybe this is unit elastic. I'll come to that later. And then these are elastic, 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 elastic. Now, why are they elastic? Because let's say this is the demand curve for Coca-Cola. All right. Now, if you see that, let's say Coca-Cola was previously, let's say $6, and when the price was $6, maybe the demand was 50 customers used to buy it, and for some reason the price was increased, right? Maybe the price was increased by, let's say, $4. And then look at this, to $10, and then now the demand is maybe 30. So now look at these two areas. So change in price and change in demand. Okay. Now compare between these two curves. Here for tobacco, okay, the change in price was let's say the change in price was same for both. But look at the impact on the demand. Here, the impact on demand was very less, right? Very less. But here, the impact of demand was huge. All right. Now, what's the situation? Why did it happen? Because the demand is inelastic here. That means tobacco is like it's like a habitual good, right? People can't actually quit it easily. But here, for soft drinks, it is not habitual, right? They can easily switch to other things. Even they can switch to energy drinks or switch to coffee or fruit juice. There are so many options available, right? So that's why the demand is elastic. So if you change the price a bit, a lot of people is going to leave you. They're going to switch to other sort of drinks. All right.
Okay.
So as a manager, it is important to know if the demand for your product is price inelastic or price elastic. Because if it is elastic, let's say you use your mathematics, right? You use the formula. And then by using the formula, you figured out that your the demand for your product is price elastic. So are you gonna, in that situation or in that scenario, are you gonna increase the price or decrease the price?
Decrease the price.
Sorry?
Decrease the
Decrease the
price.
price. Exactly. Very good. Because if you decrease the price, let's think of this graph in a different way. The initial price was $10, and then you decrease it to $6. Okay, you're gonna get a lot of customers because previously there were only 30 customers. Now you're gonna get 50 customers, right? So it's gonna
Yes, sir.
hugely impact the demand. So good decision. As a manager, you'll take a good decision. Okay, by reducing the price. But on the other hand, if your demand is inelastic, let's say you use your formula and you saw that the price or the demand for a product is price inelastic. In that situation, tell me, think and tell me, are you going to increase the price or decrease the price?
Oh, we don't know what I'm selling, right, sir? Just
Let's
regarding
say
the
you're selling a medicine, very important medicine. Okay, maybe it helps people to recover from fever.
then increase the price lah.
You should increase the price. Yes, very good. Because now you are smart. You know that the demand is inelastic for your product. Okay, that means even if you increase the price, it's gonna impact very little on the demand, quantity demand. Okay, very little impact on the demand. So that is why you should increase the price to get more revenue, more money. Okay.
All right, sir.
So now we know that if it is inelastic, okay, I'm starting this tree. If the demand for a product is price inelastic, okay, managers should increase the price. Increase the price, increase the revenue. Right? Revenue is the money earned from the customers. Because even if you increase the price, it's not going to impact the demand much.
Quantity demand, yeah.
Okay, maybe only a few people will stop buying it, but that doesn't matter. You'll still be happy because now when you're getting a better price, and that means more money. When you increase the price and the demand does not change much, it means that you are now getting more income, more money, more revenue. Okay.
Okay.
But if your demand is elastic, let me copy this. If the demand is elastic, then what should you do? Managers should
decrease the price.
Decrease the price. Yes. Managers should decrease the price. And why is that? Because it's gonna bring you lots of new customers, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that is why it is important for you to know about elasticity. If you want to become a good manager, first you need to understand, is the demand for a product elastic or inelastic? And accordingly, you can take a decision about changing the price. Is it clear now, Adam?
Yes, sir.
Makes sense?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so we have already discussed about the formula. Now, sometimes your result will be 0. Okay, you calculate and you find the result is 0. In that case, is it elastic or inelastic?
It's perfect inelastic, I think.
If the PD is 0, it is perfectly inelastic. So that means, what does perfectly inelastic means? That means no matter what price you charge or how the price changes, the demand is not affected even slightly. Okay, not even by 0.001%. It's exactly, it will be exactly the same, no matter how much price you charge them. So it could be things for like things like very, very essential, maybe COVID vaccine. Okay, so let's say usually COVID vaccines are bought by government, right, from other countries, and some other countries even give them for free. But let's just assume that our government needs to buy vaccine for its people. Let's say in Malaysia there are 100 people, right? and all of
Yep.
this you need vaccine for all those 100 people. Okay, so in that case, the demand will be perfectly inelastic. It means that no matter how much price will be charged for those COVID vaccine, the demand will still the same. It won't be more or it won't be less, right? Because you
Yes.
still need, doesn't matter what the price is, you still need 100, exactly 100 vaccine, okay, for your people, for your country. Okay, this could be an example. However, on the other hand, sometimes it is not zero, but rather your answer will be infinity. Do you know the difference between zero and infinity?
Infinity is like you cannot count lah. Zero
Right, you
is
cannot count. It's
zero has a value.
it never ends. It's not. It's yeah, it doesn't have a value, and it doesn't end. Right? It goes on. There is no end to that number. So if it is infinity, if your result is infinity, that means the demand is perfectly elastic. It is perfect straight line. Remember? Remember that's why you can't say it looks straight line. Okay. Elastic curve. Yes, it is a bit straight, but not exactly straight like this. In that case, that is perfectly elastic. So what does perfectly elastic mean? It means that no matter the price is always fixed. There will be no change in price. See, the price is not going to 10 or it's not coming down to 8. It's fixed at 9. And in that price, the demand, whatever the demand will be, they have to, the price will be fixed. For example, it might happen for a specific vegetable, for example, if the government fixes the price. Okay, let's say the government fixes the price for vegetable at, or for carrots at $9 per kilo, $9. Okay, so if the government fixes something, no one can increase it or decrease it. Okay, that's the rule. So the price will be fixed, and in that price, now it's up to you whatever the demand will be. But demand might be 180, 140. Okay, even if the demand changes from 140 to 120, it won't affect the price. The price will still be $9 because the government has fixed it. It is perfectly elastic. Is it clear now, Adam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is perfectly elastic demand curve, and this is perfectly inelastic. Okay.
Perfectly
and what if you get exactly 1? So it's not 0, it's not infinity, it is exactly 1. What happens then? It means it is unitary elastic. Okay.
Or
so
unitary
unitary elastic means the price will be exactly the same. The change in price will be exactly the same change in demand. Okay. So again, if we look at this diagram, maybe the curve will look something like this. If I go down. Okay, let me. So we have the price here, we have the quantity demand here. So unit elastic will be something like this. So remember, this is inelastic, right?
Yep.
Inelastic.
Yep.
And then this is elastic. So it is between inelastic and elastic. So it is maybe something like this. Something like this. Okay. So that means the change in price will be exactly the same as change in demand quantity.
Oh, so that's what
that's
elementary elastic. Oh, unit.
Unit elastic. Yes, unit elastic.
Unit.
So if you see the change in price here,
it's the same as quantity demand.
Yes.
Okay.
So this one was almost very little change. This one was a lot of change in demand. Okay, little impact on demand, a lot of impact in demand. Here, if it is unitary, it's exactly the same. If your price goes up by 2%, okay, your demand will fall by exactly 2%. All right. Here, tell me, if the price goes up by 2%, let's just say 2%. How much is your demand going to change?
2%.
Less than 2%.
Less than 2%,
right? Because we know the impact will be less here, right? Less than 2%. Here, if the price goes up by 2%, then the demand, what's going to be the impact on demand? On demand, it's going to go up by more than 2%. All right. So now I hope you are clear about elasticity.
Yes, sir. So the unit elastic.
Yeah.
When the value is 1, right?
Exactly 1. Yes. When PED
exactly
is
1.
Exactly 1. All right. Not 1.5 or 1.6. Because if it is 1.5, then it becomes elastic, right? or if it is becomes 0.9, it is inelastic. So answer must be exactly 1.
Okay.
All right. So now let's go back to the book. Now, what are the factors that affect the elasticity, right? So we see that for some product, the elasticity is high. For
So,
example,
I
soft
can
drinks.
see. I can see the book.
Oh, you can see the book. Just a second. All right, can you see it now?
Oh yeah, can see now.
Were you able to see the the previous diagrams, like perfectly elastic,
Yep.
perfect elastic? Okay. Now you need to know what are the factors that affect the elasticity, not the demand, because there are some specific factors that affects only the demand, right? For example, income, right? Then substitute goods or things like that, change in taste or fashion. But here we're talking about elasticity.
That's just
So what increases the elasticity or what decreases the elasticity? Okay, what are those factors? So I'll show you another note here. Let's look at this document here. If we go down, so look at this. If something becomes necessary, more necessary, like for example, the staple food that you can't survive without, let's say bread. Everyone needs bread, right? In the morning. And if there is not enough bread, they will die. And it is very necessary. Or if you think about medicine or things like water, those are absolutely necessary, right? So the
Yep.
more necessary something becomes, the more inelastic it gets. Okay? And the less necessary it becomes, the more elastic it gets. For example, think about Pepsi and Fanta and those soft drinks. It is not so necessary, right? I mean, we won't die if we don't drink them, right? And that is why it is elastic. Are you with me?
okay. Yes, sir. Understand.
So the degree of necessity either increases or decreases the elasticity. If something becomes more necessary, it becomes inelastic. All right. And if something becomes less necessary, that means it's not very necessary. You can still survive without it.
Becomes
Then
elastic.
it becomes elastic. All right.
Okay.
Next point. If something has lots of substitute, that means alternatives, then it becomes elastic. If something has less substitutes, then it is inelastic. For example, again, if we talk about soft drinks, you have lots of
Cola
options.
and Pepsi.
You have energy drink, even lots of varieties, right? You can
Yep.
talk about fruit juice, energy drinks. All right, there are so many drinks available for you. So that is why, since you have lots of substitute, it's more elastic. But if you think about cigarettes, it doesn't have many substitutes, right? It does not have many substitutes. And actually, if you forget about tobacco, maybe think about even telecom, mobile phone companies. There are only a few mobile phone companies, right? You don't have many
Yep.
options. You can either choose from Apple or Samsung, or let's say Huawei, right?
Yep.
You don't have many other options. Yes, in some countries it varies a bit more. But let's say if we have these three mobile phone, then in that case it will be inelastic, right? When something has less substitutes, the demand will be inelastic. Same goes for the telecom operator, right? I don't know what's the
Yes.
operator. What operator do you have in Malaysia?
Nexus.
Do you have Axiata in Malaysia?
Asia. Oh yeah, they have.
You have Axiata, right? So
I
there are.
Malaysia has a lot. Malaysia
Oh,
has a
Malaysia
lot.
has a lot of. Oh, okay, okay. But things are different in Bangladesh. We only have 3 operators or 4. So that is why they charge a lot of money to us. And we still buy it because we don't have any option, right? We need to buy from either of these 3. So in that case, the demand is inelastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Even if they charge a high price, people will still buy it because they need to talk, right? They need to use their phone.
Yep.
Oh, so the availability of substitutes or the number of substitutes is another factor that changes the elasticity. Okay. Another factor is time. Cost of switching. Okay, these are not very important. I'll just skip them. Okay, think about this one, proportion of income. This is important. So if you are spending a lot of a huge portion of your income on a particular good, it will become more elastic
Oh,
compared
okay.
to if you're spending a very low portion of your income, then it is inelastic. So if you think about, let's talk about things that we spend very less on, or that eats up a very small portion of our income. Let's say things like, what can you say? Maybe let's talk about bread, or not bread actually. Maybe let's talk about even something even less expensive. You don't use matchstick, right, in Malaysia, do you?
Matchstick, no.
Matchstick is like, okay, let's just say chopsticks.
Oh, okay.
Chopsticks at home?
Yeah, it was pardon, sir?
Do you use chopsticks at home?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, but chopstick is not very expensive, right?
Yep.
How much does it cost?
Uh, I don't know, sir, but I always
Very
get
less.
free.
Let's say 2 ringgit. Okay, let's just assume 2 ringgit. So, if your income, let's say you are earning 5,000 ringgit a month, then 2 ringgit is very small portion, right? Maybe what, 0.5, 0.05%, something like that, right? The money you're spending on chopstick is actually a very small percentage or portion of your total income, correct?
Yep.
So that is why it will be inelastic, because even if they increase the price of the chopstick from 2 ringgit to 4 ringgit, it will really not matter to you. You won't stop buying it, right? Because you really don't care. It's just eating up only a small part of your income, right? You're spending a small part of your income on. So
Yes.
that means you won't be very sensitive to the change in price. Okay. But think about car. When you buy a car,
Yeah.
you spend maybe what, your half of your yearly income on it, right?
Yep.
So that means you'll be more elastic. So maybe you have a Toyota, you have option of Toyota and Hyundai, maybe for example, or Ford. Okay, so you're thinking of buying Ford, but when if Ford increases the price by 1,000 ringgit, then maybe you're gonna switch, right? Maybe you're gonna switch to Toyota, because now you're very sensitive, because 1,000 ringgit is a big deal for you, right? 1,000 ringgit is maybe, let's say, 20% of your income, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is why, when we spend a very large portion of our income on a particular good, for those type of good, the demand will be elastic compared to products where we spend only a very small part of our income or
Low.
very little money. So we really don't care if they increase or decrease the price, right? It doesn't
Yes,
matter.
sir.
Okay, because it costs a very small amount of money in. All right. So is it clear? Factors, these are the factors that affect the demand. These are the factors that affect the elasticity of demand. So,
The last. So the first one is
okay,
substitute
you,
good.
you can actually follow this book as well. There's nothing wrong with that. You can say the
Okay.
range and attractiveness of substitute, the availability of substitutes, right? So more substitutes, more elastic,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Less substitute, less elastic, meaning inelastic. Okay. They have talked about another thing, relative expense of the product. So this is just what I just talked about now. What what portion of income you're spending on, right?
Income.
Okay.
Yep.
So a chopstick is very, very cheap, right? It's not so
So it's
expensive.
inelastic.
So it will be inelastic. But if you're buying something expensive like a TV or maybe a car, then you're going to be more elastic. Okay. If they
Yep.
change the price even by a little amount, you're going to switch to another brand, because those kind of things actually takes up a large part of your income. So you're very sensitive about the price of those products. All right. And there's another thing they have mentioned here, that is time. So time, let's see what they have written here about time. They're saying in time, in short term, people will hard to change their spending patterns. Okay. Now this is true, right? For example, let's say every month you buy milk, right?
Hmm?
And then all of a sudden, the price of milk has increased by, let's say, 20 ringgit or 50 ringgit, right? So you're not going to change your plan in a short time, in a few instantly, right? The next day, it's not that, okay, the price increase, so you don't buy it anymore, you stop buying it immediately. It's not like that.
Oh,
Maybe you stop
okay.
buying after a few months, right? When you are
Mm.
budgeting for your family costs or family expenses. Then you realize, okay, now we're spending too much on milk. Maybe we should stop buying milk. We'll just buy
Oh,
some other form of drinks.
oh,
Right?
so
So
time is like a long term lah, sir.
short term and long term. Short term is maybe for
Oh,
weeks,
short
a
term.
few weeks or months. Okay. So in the few weeks or months, and even some people are lazy, right? We people don't easily change. So that could be another reason. So we don't want to change in a few instantly. Okay, it takes some time to, make a change in our spending habit or buying habit, right? So that's what they're saying here. That in the short term, everything will be inelastic because we don't easily change our spending pattern. So that means even if you increase the price of milk, even if you increase the price of clothes, people will still keep on buying it. Okay, but they will after a few months they will change. Okay, they'll change their spending patterns. Maybe they'll realize that, okay, no, I have spent too much on milk, so now I'm gonna buy maybe fruit juice for my breakfast. Okay, that will happen after 6 months. So in the long term, the demand will be elastic, but in the short term, the demand will be inelastic because you don't usually change. You don't usually respond to the change in price. Clear now?
All right, sir. Yes.
Oh. Now, the second topic is income elasticity. All right. So just like we had price elasticity, there's something called income elasticity.
Income
Now,
is
I think you can guess uh, what this means. It means how responsive the demand is due to a
when the
change
change in
in
income.
income, not price. Because when you put price here, it is about PED, price elasticity demand. Okay.
Yep.
But here we're removing the price, but we're putting income.
Sir,
This is yes. You want to say something?
so the formula is like very similar
Same.
to the price.
Same, exactly
Price.
same.
Oh, same.
Only the different word. Previously it was price.
So,
Now it's income.
so like new demand minus old demand over old demand times
Yes.
100.
Yes, that is percentage change in quantity demand. And then for
Okay.
percentage change in income, it is again new income minus old income by old income into
Okay.
100. Okay.
All right.
Now, so why are we trying to find this out? Or what will you exactly find it out by using this formula? You'll find out how the people's demand or how responsive their demand is when their income changes. Okay. Previously, it was how responsive the demand will be due to a change in price. But here, we're finding out how responsive the demand will, meaning we're trying to find out will the demand increase a little bit or by a lot? Will there be a huge impact on the demand or little impact on the demand due to a little change in the income? Will there be a huge impact on the quantity demand or less impact on the demand due to a change in the people's income? Now, it might vary from product to product, right? And in
Yep.
fact, by using this, we can actually know what kind of product it is. What kind of product it is, okay? So let's look at this part of the book. This is important. So here, if you're similarly, if just like elasticity, if it is, if your answer is more than one, it means the product that you are trying to find out, the product that you're talking about is normal good. That means it is elastic response, same as price elasticity, right? So we don't just call this, we don't call this elastic good, we just call this normal good. So normal good means if for normal goods, if there is a small change in income, there will be a huge change in demand. So what could be some example of normal goods? Most of the things that we see in the market are normal goods. Okay. So it could be maybe even bread. Even bread is an example of normal good. So let's say people like eating bread, right? Or fruits. If you talk about fruits, people like eating fruits. So if their income increase, okay, even by 2%, then they're gonna go and buy more fruits than before, more bread than before because they like it. Okay. So the response in demand will be bigger. Okay, the response in demand will be bigger than the change in price.
Mm,
Okay, now what if it is less than 1? If it
one.
is less than 1, that will be inferior goods. Now this is interesting. Okay, that means even if their income has increased, they're not going out in the market to buy more. Rather, they're buying less. All right.
Oh,
So that is why it is called inferior good. Inferior is a negative word, right? Now think and tell me what could be an example of inferior good. Something which you buy less when your income increase.
uh, wait, shoes is normal goods, right?
Shoes. Shoes.
Oh,
Maybe. Maybe it
sorry,
could be. It could be anything that is
smoke
cheap. That is cheap.
cigarette.
No, no, not cigarette is different. Cigarette is obviously if you're in this case, cigarette could be normal good because people
Oh,
like more cigarettes. If their income increase, they're gonna go out and buy more cigarettes. If their income increase, they're gonna previously they used to buy 1 packet of cigarette. Now since they have more money in their pocket or more income, they're gonna buy 2 packets. So that is normal good. But here we're talking about inferior good. So maybe anything that is cheap. Maybe let's say um, maybe Honda motorcycle. So since their income has increased, they don't buy scooty anymore because scooty is cheap.
oh,
Maybe they're gonna buy a car, right? So if the income of the people increase, the demand for scooty or small motorcycle or bicycle will decrease, right?
decrease. Yep.
Why? What's the reason? Because now since people have more income, they want to buy something better. They don't want to use bicycle anymore. Maybe they want to get a very good motorcycle or maybe even a car. All right. So in this case, bicycle will be inferior good. All right. And then it could be a cheap product even, some cheap food. Actually, what could be an example of cheap food? Uh, Maybe what can we say? What is cheap food? What is cheap in Malaysia? Tell me. Very cheap.
Nasi lemak.
Sorry.
You know nasi lemak, sir?
No, I don't know. Is that a fruit?
Food, yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, I'll search that. How do you spell that?
Nasilemak.
Oh, I see, I see. All right. So in that case, this that can be an example of very good because you see, maybe how by the way, how does it taste? Does it taste good or bad?
It's good. Wait. That one's like normal good. Even though the price increased, people still buy it.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, if the price increase, if you will buy, then that must be really good. So tell me about a fruit that is cheap but that does not taste so well.
Oh,
People buy it because they need to eat something, they need to eat some fruit. So I don't know, maybe watermelon. Okay, let's just use watermelon. So once people has more income, they're gonna buy less of watermelon because now they have money. So maybe
they
they're
want
gonna
to buy
buy
something better.
mangoes. Yes, they're gonna buy expensive things, mangoes or maybe strawberries. Okay. Now is it clear the concept of inferior good?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So another thing, for price elasticity, we did not care about negative or positive, right?
Yep.
But actually, for income elasticity, we actually care about positive or negative. Okay. Any positive figure is normal good, any negative figure is inferior.
Very good.
Okay. So
Okay,
that's what you
okay.
need to remember. Okay. And then we have one last thing, that is cross elasticity of demand. So cross elasticity is interesting because here you are comparing two products. So let's say Coke and Pepsi. Okay. So you're finding out what will happen to the demand of Pepsi. Let's say product A is Pepsi, product B is Coke, Coca-Cola. All right. So here by using this formula or by using cross elasticity, you are actually finding out how the demand of Pepsi will change due to a change in the price of Coke. So it's very smart. All right. And this is mainly used by very smart managers. All right. So
Okay, sir.
percentage change in the price of product B and percentage change in demand of product A. So you always need two types of product for comparison. All right. That's why this is called cross. Cross is, when you analyze two different things, right? So that is why it's called cross elasticity. You are comparing product A and product B. So how the demand for product A, or how much the impact will be on the demand for product A due to a little change in the price of product B. All right. So this is done by all big competitors. Let's say Google and Facebook, or Google and Microsoft. All right. And then maybe Emirates aeroplane and let's say, for example, Turkish Airlines. Okay. All these big competitors, they always use process demand to understand how the change of the price of either their product or the company's product will impact the demand for the other competitor. All right. The formula is actually the same. The formula is same. It's just the price is always at the bottom, either the income or the price. Okay, and quantity demand will always be at the top. But here the issue is you're comparing two products, product A and product.
Okay.
All right. Now let's see. Let's know how to interpret. So if your result is a positive sign, positive figure, it means the products are substitutes. Okay, it means the product is substitute. So let's see, for example, here the answer is +1. So that means if you decrease the price of laptop, okay, then in that case the demand for PC will fall. Now that makes sense, right? Why?
Yes.
Because when you decrease the price of laptop, people are gonna buy more laptops.
Buy more laptop.
And less PC, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's why the result is +1, positive figure, and that means they are substitute. And remember, what is substitutes? Substitute goods are those goods that can be used as an alternate, right? As a substitute for each other. So you can either use PC or you can go for laptop, just like tea and coffee, right? Or car and motorcycle. Those are substitute goods. So if your result is positive, that means these two products are substitute goods. Understood, Adam?
Understand, sir.
All right, good. Now, what if you get a negative figure here in this case? What does that mean? If your answer is negative, can you guess what type of goods are these two? Here they're comparing PCs and softwares. So a reduction in the price of software has actually increased the sale of PC. Okay, what does that mean? It means they are complementary goods. Okay, they are complements. Okay, complements means both of them need to be used together. One of them cannot be used without the other, right? So if you think about the logic, it makes sense, because when you decrease the price of software, okay, what will happen? People will buy more software, right? People will buy more software. But the thing is, they can't use the software by itself. Then it's something else. Then it's PC as well, right? So to use those softwares, which they are now getting at a cheaper price, they will buy more price. They will buy more PCs. So a reduction in the price of software will actually increase the demand for PCs. And that's why we call them complementary. Because you cannot use a PC without software. Neither can you use a software without a PC. They need each other, right? They need to be used together. So very easy. If your answer is positive, it is that means those two products are substitutes. If your answer is negative, that means those two products are complements. Okay. So now I think you're clear about everything about elasticity. Right, Adam? By the way, have you asked your school teacher if they're going to ask anything from term 1?
Oh, I forgot, sir. Oh,
okay. Make sure you ask it. Okay? That's very important.
But they said that my exams is all on online now. So yeah.
Or online. Okay, that is fine. That is fine. But the issue is are they going to ask anything from term one or not? Okay, because otherwise
Okay.
I'll have to make you practice term one questions. So far, I'm just making you practice term two
Right.
questions. Okay, how to answer term two questions. But if your examiners are going to ask anything from term one, then we have to practice these questions as well. Okay, so we have to adjust our lesson plan accordingly. So that is why it is important for you to ask. Okay, so make sure to ask. All right. So just like there was elasticity of demand, there is also elasticity of supply. Okay. So you are measuring what is the impact of supply due to a little change in price. Okay.
It's technically the same, but it's just the supply.
Yes, supply. Okay, the formula is exactly the same. So let's see how we can interpret the answers. They haven't given it here, but you can guess. So if the supply is elastic, I'm just asking you, okay? Just use your common sense. If the supply is price elastic, what does it mean?
The
Means a
quantity
little change in
supplied
price.
is very little.
Yes, a little
Very
change in
little.
price will cause a bigger impact or a bigger change in the supply, right? That is called elastic supply. Elastic supply. Yes. So can you give me can you give me example of a product for which the demand, sorry, for which the supply might be price elastic? Think and then tell me, okay? We are now talking from the supply perspective, not the demand perspective. Okay, so now you are the producer, not the customer. So think about any product. Think about any product which you will supply more. Okay, if the price maybe increase a little bit.
So elastic supply is when you increase the price. Pressure.
No, it's not about increase or decrease. It's a little change in price. It might be increase, it might be decrease. Okay, we're talking about how responsive. So for elastic, the supply, yes, the impact will be more. So if you change the price a little bit, you're going to see a big change in the supply. Okay. Now it's up to you. Are you going to increase the price or decrease the price? It's total up to you. But whatever you do, you're going to see a big change in the supply. So what could be a good example for a product for which the supply is price elastic?
Bread.
Bread. Not really. Yeah, because I'll tell you why. Because even if the price of bread increase, okay, yes, maybe for because since you're getting a better price, maybe you want to supply more. But the thing is, bread depends on something natural, right? Bread depends on wheat.
Oh,
you need wheat,
true.
and you need things like that. And those cannot be processed very quickly, right? You need some time. You need to grow the crops, and then you need to make them, convert them into wheat, right? So it will take some time to get those supplies. Maybe something electronic, right? Maybe PS5, PlayStation 5, right? So, or maybe the PlayStation games. If the price of PlayStation games increase, people are going to supply more games because it doesn't cost much to produce games, computer games, right? You can get just for the same game, you can get 1,000 copies, 1 million copies. It's not very difficult to make copies of the same game. So you supply more games, right? And it is easy to supply more. So that could be an example. Now think about a product that has inelastic supply, or the supply is price inelastic. What could be a product?
In elastic supply.
That means you're changing the price a lot, but it's not changing. It's not having a very huge impact on the supply. What could be an example? Maybe vegetables, carrot, right? Because carrot, let's say in my country, carrots only grow in the winter, right? Only in the winter. So during the summertime, even if you offer a very high price, then it's not going to be possible to supply you more carrots, right? Because it's a natural thing. It will come only in the winter. Did you understand?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir, can you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So the supply of carrot is price inelastic. So what does price inelastic means? Means a little change in price will not have any impact on the supply.
Yes.
That means you can't change the supply a lot, right? If you think about carrots or any vegetables, cauliflowers, vegetables that only grow in a specific period of the year, right? Specific time. Let's say in winter, carrots, we have lots of carrots, right? But in other times, we don't have much carrots because winter is the best season, best temperature to grow carrots.
Oh, okay.
Now, in the other times, let's say in summer, even if you change the price of carrots, if the price is high, normally,
Still be same.
yes, if the price is high, supplier wants to supply more, right? Because they want to get
Yes.
more money for it. But in summer, the carrot supplier or the farmers cannot do that because
Because they
it
cannot
is not
produce
possible. Yes, it is not possible to grow more supply, right? Because it only grows in
at
winter,
a specific time.
yeah, in a specific time. So that is an example of inelastic supply. Understood?
Yes, sir.
All right, fantastic.
No, it's harder to find examples for inelastic supply than
Yes.
demand.
Vegetables. Now you know vegetables is a good example, right? Vegetable could be a good example. And it's something that takes a lot of time to supply. Maybe even a good software, right? Because
Yeah.
when you want to produce a good software, you need some really good engineers, software engineers, right?
Oh,
Programmers.
sir, is medicine one of them? Because
Maybe
you
yes,
you
very
need to
good.
take time, right?
Right,
You take
because
time,
if you
right?
think about COVID vaccine, it took almost 2 years, right?
Yeah.
To get the vaccine. So even if you want to pay $1 million for vaccine, you still can get it, right? Because it will take some really good doctors, some chemists, right, to develop a vaccine. So supply is elastic, very good.
But
Okay.
after the COVID vaccine has been found, is it still inelastic or elastic?
Well, it's still inelastic because the thing is, you need some
Oh.
really special chemical to produce the vaccine.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Because and that needs some time. Lots of people are working in the lab to develop those things. Okay, still under development. So you know the suppliers can't just supply if you just pay money. Okay, because you see, if you look at many countries, they still didn't get vaccine, right? If vaccine was easy to make, every country would have received the vaccine by now. But that's not the
Oh,
case,
that's true.
right? So that is why it's still elastic. Maybe at some time it will be elastic, okay? When maybe after 2 years, when the scientist has actually developed a easy and convenient way to make the vaccine, okay? Maybe at that time it might be elastic. We don't know. All right. So these things you already know, okay? These are talking about not elasticity, but the curve itself. For example, here the demand is increasing, right? And when the demand is increasing, you can see that there is an increased demand. When the demand has increased, the price has increased. So you already know these things. I'm not gonna revise them again. You already know factors that affect demand, like changing fashion, taste, okay, substitute goods, and those things. These are just a revision. You know these things. I'm gonna just work through. Okay. Now, important thing. Sometimes in some situation, both the demand and the supply could change. Okay, both the demand and supply could change. So you can have multiple demand curve and multiple supply curve based on the scenario. Okay, so let me see if I can show you one question like this. Give me a second. Let's see if I can find a question for you. maybe this one. Look at question 13. Okay. See if you understand this. 13.
Diagram shows the demand. 18, right, sir?
13. Yeah.
Cost of independent. Equilibrium.
So equilibrium position is X means initially this is where you are at, this price, okay?
Okay.
X.
Okay.
Because equilibrium is when the demand and supply meets. Do you know about this?
Sorry, sir?
Do you know about equilibrium? What is equilibrium?
Is when the price and the demand is the same.
Where the demand and supply is the same. Okay,
Yes, demand and supply.
okay, I think before we come to this, maybe you need to be clear about equilibrium, okay? So how is the price set actually? All right. So a price is set at the point where the demand meets the supply. Okay, for example, here. So this was the initial price, right? This was the
Yes.
initial price. Because price is the meeting point between demand and supply. And then for some reason the demand increased, for some reason, maybe I don't know, people's income increased or their fashion, their taste changed, okay, or whatever. And for that the demand shifted here. So this become the new price. Okay, P1 is the new price and Q star is the new point. Okay. So based on situation, you need to understand what will be the new price. Okay, how the demand, first you need to understand how the demand curve will shift or the supply curve will shift, and then accordingly you can find out what will be the new equilibrium. So this was the previous equilibrium, right? And this is
Yes,
the
sir.
new equilibrium. Okay, why is this the new equilibrium? Because the demand shifted, the demand curve shifted. Okay, that is why your equilibrium changed. And equilibrium point is the point where you fix the price. So the price, the equilibrium, the demand changed, the supply remained same, right? There was no issue with supply. Only the demand changed. So the demand curve has shifted to D2. Right? As a result, the equilibrium point moved from here to here. Okay. But that is not important. You don't have to write that, but you have to write that it caused a change in the price from P0, it increased to P star, or they could have written P1. That's the important. So here you're seeing only the change in demand, but in some situation, maybe the demand will increase and maybe the supply will decrease, or maybe the supply will increase, right? There could be more than one changes, right? It is possible. Okay. So let's stop for here now for today. You can revise whatever you have learned this so far. All right.
Okay.
And from your book, you can study this part, changes in the equilibrium. Okay. In the next class, maybe we'll solve some questions like this. Okay. These are real exam questions. So you'll understand that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Equilibrium is like when the price and the
Meeting points
quantity.
between demand and supply. And that is where the price is fixed. That means at this price, the supply is happy and the demand is also happy, right? Okay. So this is the price where the supplier is agreeing to supply you, let's say 100 kilo of potato, and also the people are willing to pay, let's say this is $10, 100. This is the point where the buyers are also willing to buy 100 kilos for this price. So this is the happy point where both the customers, meaning buyers, and the suppliers are happy. Okay, so that's why it's called equilibrium. Did you understand?
Okay, okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't worry, I'll explain it in a better way in the next class. But I'm just telling you that due to some factors, the demand curve might change, the supply curve might also change. And at that point, you have to say which is the new equilibrium. Right. I'll explain to that in the next class. All right. So you haven't finished your previous homework. You need to finish it. All right.
The aggregate demand and the supply.
Factors that have changed. Yes. You might take some help from the book if you want. All right. We have explained those things. We have discussed those things. That shouldn't be very difficult for you. And I think you also have a homework for business. I have sent that back to you through email. Okay. So just complete it.
Email.
Yeah. Complete the answers that you haven't answered.
Okay, okay.
And always try to pay attention to the marks, because now you know how to get more marks, right? You need to write something.
Yes.
You need to write a key phrase, right? And I have explained what are key phrases, how you need to get marks. So try to use those knowledge and write a good answer. Okay. All right then.
Sorry,
Yeah.
can I share you my my research report?
Yeah.
Can you tell?
Oh,
you
by
tell
the
me
way,
paper?
there were some issues with your research report, specifically the questionnaire. Let me just open it. By the way, have you already sent the questionnaire
Yes, yes, I
to your
already sent the
friends?
question.
Oh, okay. All right. So in that case, maybe it's not important now to discuss it. But there were some grammatical mistakes in the question,
Oh,
and there was some repetition of the question. Okay, there were some unnecessary question as well. So
okay.
that's okay. Maybe I can show you in the next business class. But since you have already distributed the questionnaire, I think you can just forget it for now. But in the next time, you need to be more careful. Okay, I'll actually show you what your mistakes were. And
Okay.
so, did you get them back? Did you collect the questionnaire back from your
Yeah,
friends?
I got the results back. That's why
Okay,
I'm
okay.
writing all of them.
Right. You need to interpret the answer. Do you know how to make
Yeah.
the bar charts, pie charts?
Yes, yes.
You know how to show the statistics, right? Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So
So
can I screen share for a while?
yeah,
I can
sure.
show you the.
Just a second. All right, let me allow you.
Okay, already. And see my screen, sir?
Yeah.
This one, right? Okay, the introduction method already discussed it. The results, right, sir?
Results. Okay. Uh,
I need to interpret it.
all right. So when you interpret the result, it's better to go from uh, it's better to go from easy to difficult things. For example, you start with easy ones like age. You need to talk about the age first, right? So what were the age of your respondents? What were their gender of the respondents, right? Maybe 50% males, 50% female, right? And then maybe all of them between the age group of, let's say, 18 to 25, for example. I'm just saying 18 to 24. So you need to show those statistics first, the statistics of the respondents first. Okay, that is important. And then you can just come to the main questions. Okay, things like this. Oh, sorry, you're talking about the economics one. Okay, sorry. I thought you were talking about the business.
Oh.
Sorry. Okay.
The business one, sir, it doesn't need to interpret the result. Like,
Yeah.
just use the result as the name. But
Okay.
in this case, I need to like say what is the result. Yeah, to interpret the result
Okay.
of this.
Yeah, that looks fine. That looks fine. But still, just email it to me, okay, so that I can have a detailed look on it. Have you emailed this to me already?
Yeah, I already emailed.
Oh, yeah, already emailed this to me. Okay, then I'll have a look, and then I'll just talk about this. So, are you not sure what to write here in the discussion part?
Yeah, discussion part. I'm not sure. Like, I already described all of this, but
Okay.
this
But you're not
discussion
sure
part, I
what to
don't know.
write here. Okay, I see. All right then. So I'll have a look. When are you supposed to submit it?
Next week.
Next week. Okay. All right.
It's just
So
these two
maybe
lah.
I'll in WhatsApp. Maybe I'll give you some points to write about. Okay.
All right.
In your WhatsApp, I'll give you some points to write about, and then you write them, and then show it to me in the next class.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Okay. So I'm not giving you any new homework because you haven't finished the early one. So just finish that, your economics homework. Okay. And then email it to me whenever you can. All right. And you can revise from time to time. You can revise because now you have all the record, right? Everything is getting recorded.
Yep.
So whenever you get time, you just revise those things, especially for the classes for term 2. Those are more important. Okay. Whatever classes we're doing for term 2, you can just revise them. All right. Because we have to practice more, otherwise we'll fall behind. Okay.
All right.
Okay then. So do you have any question? Any other questions?
No. So can I have the discussion part by today? If
Sorry. Hello. Hello. I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat? Yeah.
hello, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Hello.
What should I say? Oh, about the discussion.
Oh,
Hello.
discussion. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have a look at everything you've written, and then I'll give you some points for
Okay.
discussion. Okay. In WhatsApp.
All right.
I'll send it to you. All right. So thank you very much. I'll see you on
Um,
Saturday, inshallah.
all right. Sure.
Oh, thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Bye.